Welcome, everyone. My name is Rafael Rodriguez, and this year I'm teaching Honors American Literature and Honors Contemporary Comp. I'd like to go over a couple of the things that we're doing this year so you can get a better idea of what our class is going to be like. I have some pretty basic course policies. I believe in personalization and individual choice of students' education. What do I mean by that? Well, I believe that the teacher's got to be really, really flexible in presenting opportunities for the students to use the skills that we're building in the class in a way that will let them personalize the learning that we're doing. So instead of the teacher saying we're all going to read this book, we all get to read different books. Instead of the teacher saying we're going to write about this topic, we all get to write about different topics. The idea is for the students to feel personally invested and that their voice matters in what it is that they're doing for school. I also believe in teaching the students how to manage their time and their resources. Time is our number one resource, and a lot of us need to do a better job at managing it. I know that I struggle with it sometimes, but that struggle helps inform me when I'm working with students to help them manage their top resource, which is time. And I also try to help them promote saving and prepping for the future by the way that I distribute points in class in a way that allows for them to build extra points in a sort of like a banked savings account that they can use later on if necessary. All part of trying to get them to do better organizing and to be able to multitask in a more effective way than maybe they've done before. I also believe in preparing students for college and career. We're going to work on a portfolio website throughout the course of the year that they'll be able to take with them once they leave. We also work on their college personal statement so that they have it ready for next year, at least a first draft. I work with them on building a resume and a cover letter, and on preparing them for the kinds of tests that they'll need to be successful in order to earn their spots in the colleges of their choice. I also believe in something that I call DMV style grading. Well, what does that mean? When you go to the DMV to take your driver's test, and if for whatever reason you don't pass it, the DMV doesn't tell you, I'm sorry, you're going to have to buy a bus pass and use Uber or Lyft for the rest of your life. Instead, the DMV says, go home, study, practice, come back, do it over. And so I thought to myself, that is the way to do it when it comes to building skills. And so whenever a student in my class turns something in, and they don't have the score on it that they would like, they can always do it over. I apply this policy to tests as well because anybody can come in and have a bad day. The idea for the tests and the idea for the assignments and the projects and everything we do in class is to build the students' skills. So I'd like to try to incentivize the students to building these skills with continued practice. What is the time commitment of this class? How much time does this class cost? Well, the class meets for 140 minutes a week, two 70-minute periods that are synchronous. And then we have one Monday, every other Monday, 1 hour that's asynchronous. So we'll have 2 Zoom meetings a week for 70 minutes. And then we'll have the 1 hour discussion thread, asynchronous time on Mondays, every other Monday. So the content creation for this class is designed to take around 180 minutes a week. So roughly about 3 hours a week, including the 140 minutes that were in Zoom and the hour on the Mondays. But as students get more comfortable with the task and they start to build their skills, the time that they use to work on things for our class will naturally go down. I've set it up so that if the students do the work in class time, they won't have to do work outside of class. I don't want to call it homework because all of us are at home, but I'd like for the students to be able to take care of the business of my class during the time that they're in my class. What are our class projects? Well, we're going to build a portfolio website. Students have already started on that. It's not due until June, but we're going to build it throughout the course of the year. Every week they're going to write blogs. There's going to be 11 first semester and 11 second semester on the subjects of their choice. We're going to read both fiction and nonfiction, a book a semester. We're going to do a timeline of American literature, one per semester, first semester pre-20th century, second semester 20th century and beyond. And each semester we'll have a writing project. One is focused on researching grammar, which is their book of writing. They get to fill in the blank of what they want to call it. And then the second semester, we'll do a research study, similar to what they'll do when they get to college and they're doing term papers. So weekly vocabulary building is designed to address the 3 vocabularies that each of us possess. We have our speaking vocabulary, which is probably our smallest. Some studies indicate that many people use anywhere from just 60 to 100 different words a day. Then we have our largest vocabulary, which is our reading vocabulary. There are words that we will read in books, in articles, on websites that we understand what they mean, but we typically never use them when we're speaking. And then we have our writing vocabulary, which for many of us, it's a lot closer to our speaking vocabulary than it is to our reading vocabulary. So one of the things that we're going to work on this year is to try to build the vocabulary that we are all able to use in a way that will make it closer to the writing vocabulary closer to the reading vocabulary. Each week, the students will write a 1-page blog on the subject of their choice, and I'd like for them to use that week's words. Every week, I'm going to give them 25 that they can use and access through vocab.com, but I only ask that they use 10 of those 25. If they use more, they earn more points, kind of as I mentioned earlier, to try to build a bank of extra points. Even though it's only worth 10 points a week, they can earn 25 points a week if they use the entirety of the words for that week. So the independent readings, both the fiction and nonfiction, are comprised of choices, and there are over 85 options per semester. The students are going to read the book on their own time and really mainly research about that book, because the realities are that sometimes it's prohibitive for students to read cover to cover a text. And so we have to learn strategies so that they can still extract the information from books if in fact they are unable for whatever reason to read the entirety of these books. This is a skill that'll come in handy once they get to college. And if they're taking 4 or 5 classes and each class asks them to read a book a week, it's a very daunting challenge for students who haven't built a foundation of reading and decoding for meaning while they were in high school, once they get to college and are met with that kind of an obstacle. So we're going to work on that. For each of the books, they're going to write their own review. It'll have 4 paragraphs, and I'll teach them how to do it in class. They're going to give a multimedia presentation, kind of like a seminar, which they'll be able to record from home and upload so that all of the class can see it. It'll be like a real seminar, like the kind that we give as teachers, and that's what the students will give as well. And they'll have some kind of visual aid that they create so that it allows them to use an artistic, symbolic side of them. Here are the 2 semester projects. First semester, grammar research. They're going to self-publish their own book digitally. It'll be divided into multiple parts that are designed to be done during class time. That's not due until December. Second semester, they're going to do a research study, which will have another one of these multimedia seminars. This one will be 10 to 12 minutes long. It's not due until the end of May. They're also going to write a research paper. We'll have an online convention to display their work at the end of May as well. And I believe in helping them prepare for tests. So we're going to have timed writing throughout the course of the semester, this semester and second semester as well. We'll learn a little bit more about the language of tests and how the tests are written, both the SAP, the CASP, or the SBAC. Teach them how to respond to document-based questions, DBQs, for many of the students who have APs. And we'll always try to read with a focus on rhetorical analysis, claims, evidence for those claims, the purpose of making such claims, and the audiences that those claims are directed towards. And that'll kind of be it for the year. Thank you so much for joining our class during this historic, unprecedented school year where We're apart, but hopefully we'll still be together. Take care.